check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn on my headphones. Cut my headphones on. Get ready to get into it and do it. Just got I'm gonna stay with the time frame that I said I was gonna come on. So I'm gonna come on in a half hour, just kind of giving a preliminary announcement and giving a shout out and thanks for those of y'all that might be coming through tonight, or live or catching this on the playback. And just to let you know, I do get a little bit frustrated when I see zeros up there, nobody in the room with me, because I'm trying to make this collaborative effort and somewhat of an organic conversation. Ooh, I got to get it together. Well, give me about a minute and a half and I'll get it together. Trust me. Drink water. I'm getting ready to do that right now. It says half hour after on my computer, but there's another clock that I use strictly for broadcasting. It's an old school alarm clock I have above my head right here. So I'm going by that. So it should be under a minute, and I'll be here. On the wall says it is time to get started, y'all. Yeah, well, this is another edition of Nightside. Again, I won't say impromptu because it's a word that I tend to use a lot. My vocabulary isn't really that expansive. I just act like it is. Anyway, I want to say hello to everybody out there in in the YouTube world. And let me get rid of this stuff here. The way I just want to drop some general housekeeping here, right? This is kind of a free flowing format, but this is a platform that I operate, right? So that being said, at some point in time, I will invite a guest on, or whoever wants to come on and actually say something. Usually it's people that I know. I usually like to do this in advance. So if somebody, would like to just come on and share their point of view or have something to say, being cognizant of the community, I don't want to say rules, but the community guidelines. Yeah. The community guidelines that are set forth by these mediums, then we straight, as long as we don't keep anything personal, we don't want to put personal information out here. And stuff like that. Just common sense, man. Common sense. Well, is only common to people that understand how common that common sense is. But anyway, let me send a thanks out to just in general. I think it's just good karma. So I want to first of all thank you for spending your time with me because there's so many other things that you could be doing on your Friday night. And I'm actually I don't like to use the term multitasking, but I kind of am doing that. And so I'm actually keeping tabs on a it's Friday Night Lights here in Texas. So my son is actually playing in a game tonight on the road. So I'm not against I'm here actually watching a game and streaming it. Well, not watching a game. It's actually just audio streaming that they've made available. So I am keeping up with that. They've gone into halftime, and it's a 7 point spread. My son's team is ahead right now, but they got to make some changes and pick it up a little bit because they're making me kind of nervous. It kind of reminds me of the Lakers back in the day when was back way back before, I think, even before Kobe, when it seemed like they didn't put points on the board until like the second half. That kind of makes me nervous. Speaking of football, that's something that he wants to do. It wasn't really my idea, and I'm not against it. There's some positive. There's some attributes to get from participating in school sports, as is known, as has been established in a number of kids that actually create opportunities from it or have opportunities extended to them. I touched on something last night regarding a matter that took place locally, a number of miles from here in this regional area at a high school. So the information is all public now, and I actually have to, not that I'm backtracking, I have to kind of clarify something that I mentioned in I believe last night's show, which is my normally scheduled shows occur on Tuesdays and Thursdays, by the way. And I'm looking at maybe even doing more and staying busy and generating more of this content and provoking thought and engaging in discourse. I know a lot of interesting people, and I'm hoping that they'll come on with me someday and have some conversations. It's not going to always be, about Moorish consciousness. It's not going to be about really a lot of things that are serious, even though because we are in serious times right now. However, I don't think this is necessarily necessarily the place for to escape from it entirely. But I'm comfortable with that. If people want to come here and just kind of blow off steam. What I was doing before didn't necessarily work because I kept getting copyright hits. Like typically on a Friday and Saturday night, I'd actually do a music session, DJing music, do some mixes, and I'd be at it for roughly. Whoa, I didn't like that. I'd be at it for roughly. I don't know. Sometimes depending on how I felt, I'd do it for about 5 hours, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of just DJing, and with breaks and that. But after receiving copyright, not really strikes but dings, and actually having my not really my site shut down, but having interruptions in that, it kind of threw me off. And I tried doing the Twitch thing. I do have a Twitch account still, and other media accounts that I could use and stream from, but it's just not worth the energy, because it's just a problem. So I've decided to kind of change things over and do a talk format. What I would like to mention, though, aside from October being breast cancer month, I also want to mention, and this actually, I kind of overlooked it. This just escaped my attention here. Someone you care about is likely experiencing domestic violence, whether you can see it or not. And that's true. And this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I actually didn't. Well, I might have known it. Actually, I should have known it. No, I guess it slipped my mind because when I was working, in public service, we didn't wear any ribbons in that. Now that I remember, we weren't really wearing any ribbons. And I don't know if when this campaign had even started, this PSA had started. So I don't know. It might have been something that started, after I left or whatnot. But I do remember Red Ribbon Week. But and I didn't always wear a red ribbon because sometimes people were inclined to like kind of tug on it and do stupid stuff. So I didn't really wear that type of stuff. I mean, I figured it was obvious. I was in uniform anyway, so it was obvious I was against that type of destructive activity, and which this is too, domestic violence. I don't really mean to be all that serious. I mean, my intention in coming on here tonight was just to have open conversation and just kind of sharing my POV in that. That over the things I've experienced through the years, I did not want this to seem like a ramble session. And just again, some more housekeeping. I actually take breaks as I go along with this here. So, those of you who've not uh, experienced this, this show or on the Learning More Chronicles channel and the All Day channel, and along with my Facebook account. Those of you out there that are watching, I do take breaks, and what I do is I play music in the background to let you know that because I don't like dead air. And a little factoid about me is that I've had some interest in actually getting in terrestrial radio, old school terrestrial radio, way back. And I also had aspirations on being a sound engineer when I was younger. Um, but the dream got killed, and I won't get it. I won't go any further on that one because it's kind of a sore subject. And I'm trying to stay upbeat, being that this is Friday. Um, you know, Conventionally, a lot of us are actually, considering this a long, an extended weekend. So I want to wish all of you out there that might have to travel to be safe, stay healthy, and drink water. So I guess this is the part where this should have been a tease, but um, you see, domestic violence, yeah. So I wanted to put that banner up there and let and actually all throughout the month, I'm either going to post this banner or this one whenever I do a broadcast throughout October. Um, just so you know, I'm not necessarily into the Halloween thing and masquerading and all that, so you won't hear that from me. And as a matter of fact, Monday, yeah, that's well, it's part of the reason it's a Gregorian calendar, and it's part of the reason why we're looking at an extended weekend. Monday is Indigenous Peoples Day. Did you catch that? Pretty controversial, huh? Pretty provocative. I don't mean to be an agent provocateur, but I'm actually more. I'm actually more about the plight of the indigenous peoples, Aboriginal people, original people, the soil, the land, throughout this entire planet, including this expanse that we call the United States of America Incorporated. 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 Look it up. There's a U.S. title on it that actually specifies and indicates in the book legally the United States is a corporation. But hey, you know, who am I, right? Just like as I always say, I'm just a guy with a microphone and an internet connection for now, and the bill is paid. Well, actually, no, I'm still working on that part. Anyway, look, let me take a break, and because there's some things I needed to get together. It's 40 right now. I'm gonna take 5 minutes and be right with you and have some stuff set up so we can get into the conversation. Among things I want to talk about is, well, the issue of black. And I'm not coming down on people about it either, but I ran across something earlier, and I want to touch in on that and generate some discussion on it. Okay, open discussion here on what is it, the Night Side Show? What did I call it? Yeah, open discussion night for Friday night, extended weekend on the Night Side, and on these channels that I've indicated. Oh man, I got to really shorten that stuff. Be right back. Give me 5. bolster your immune system, help alleviate stress. Take in those minerals and vitamins that you really need. Nutrients like vitamin B, omega fatty acids 3, 6, and 9, and many more nutrients. More Beauty now offers hemp seed oil. We all know that health is wealth. We must do all we can to maintain it. More Beauty offers 100% hemp seed oil, a natural option. Hemp seed oil, available from More Beauty. Order yours today from the embassyofthemoors.org. The embassyofthemoors.org. It's all good. Just changing the song, changing the CD. All right, welcome me back. Well, welcome. I'd like to welcome you back, actually, and thank you for joining the show tonight. And that's my disclaimer on the screen. I'll change the screen up in just a moment. Actually, I'm gonna give y'all some thanks first. It's just a good thing to do. What I also like to do is actually provide a mindful moment with each show. Mindful moment. So this applies to those of you who are away from home right now and might have to come back later on, I suppose. Before you walk into your home, pause and take a deep breath. Before you walk into your home, pause and take a deep breath. I think that's good advice. So that's your mindful minute right here on whatever show I call it. Open discussion tonight, the night side, with your host AD, otherwise known as Dolph Day, Brother Dolph. So yeah, this is a Friday night, and well, I can say I just got paid, I guess. Thank you very much for that Cash App. I do accept Cash Apps, no matter how small. If you happen to have some spare change, I will accept that. I'm serious. I know it's hard times for everybody out there, but I'm working to get into the position of, being able to help others, even if it just means, right now, just, having a conversation and stuff. Right. Anywho, what I would like to do is this. There is the topic that I was going to jump into here, right here at hand, and it's only a 52-second TikTok that actually was came through a presenter's YouTube page that was posted on their YouTube page. I'll get into it in a minute. I actually gave it a thumbs up, but there's a site, actually a YouTuber that goes by Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. That's the channel. I ran across this, and it's entitled "When You Try to Unite Black People with exclamation point at the end. So I thought it interesting. It kind of stood out because I'm not necessarily fully in the business of trying to unite our people, but I'm working on it. You know, but let me play this right here and let y'all know what you think. And as a matter of fact, he's going live right now. Watch Pan Africanism Strikes Back. He's actually going live right now on his channel. I'm going to miss it because I'm doing my thing right here. As far as length and time, I don't expect to be on very long. I just actually had to get rid of a few, make some space on here so I can broadcast tonight. So I'm not going to be going too long. But let me play this. When trying to unify Black people. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to see so many Black people coming together. We are not Black. The correct term is African. Oh, I got you, brother. That's fine. I can go with that. No, we are Moors. Learn your history. It's okay, brother. He didn't know. So Jesus and Joe Biden. Thank you, sister. I get it. All right, listen. I am not your sister. Okay. I am not even I. I identify as we. Okay, well, they identify you as okay, so I need I need y'all to take several seats so we can all get together. The Israelites are here. Thank you, brother. Can you have a seat, please? Thank you. I get it. No, we are Muslim. Assalamu alaikum. I get it. We're all from different backgrounds. This is crib. That's a little funny. That's pretty funny there. The last part, funny, well, tragic. Well, that's what comedy is, man. The opposite of tragedy. Anyway, I left a comment on here that I don't necessarily expect to get any spin on, and I didn't do it only, because I just want to let it be known that this particular video stood out to me. So it basically offered up a bit of an apology for, in advance and by starting and saying, pardon my rambling, but there's actually a sound, rational basis behind the reluctance in some to accept or consider the quote unquote Black title reference based on legal interpretation. My approach to it being fairly logical, at least to me, which is the reason why I've come to the acceptance of no longer going by it in my life, that the title Black, um, with some exceptions. It's a human right for people to classify themselves how they want, as is or should be known. It should be known that people are able to classify themselves how they want to. And as a matter of fact, just to back that up, um, I happen, hold on one sec. I happen to have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was penned in 1948 and by Eleanor Roosevelt et al. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And in Article 15 of this, it's Article 15, I guess you can say verse 1, Article 15, 1. Everyone has the right to a nationality. 2. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the right to change his nationality. So that is what is relevant to me when this came up. As soon as this came up, because, well, I know people are sensitive about it. They want to cling on to the title, but it doesn't provide you a proper lawful status. And that's what you would have to be to be considered entitled to anything akin to being rightful. As I'm shuffling papers, that's rude. I don't mean to be rude and shuffle papers, but from the let me see if this will play right here. Give me 1 second. Ooh, that sounded crazy. All right, let me stop the music first. And what I would like to do is actually play this narration right here real quick. Take a second.
Act 6 with us all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality, and their divine creed that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa.
And
Act 2 all meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the circle.
I didn't mean for that to play, but that was part of Act 2. But what was just narrated to you was, and I don't know, maybe her voice sounded better than mine. I started using these apps for that purpose. Anyhow, Act 6, as it stresses that these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. So it specifies here that these are codes that were enacted, part of a caste code system. I'm going to also read from the otherwise known in more circles as the 101s, the 101 questionnaire. I'm not going to read you all 101 questions tonight, though. I'm going to point out question number 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of the Northwest by the beast Satan in 1774. Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian. Question 86. In all reality, what is a Negro? A Negro is a four-legged animal. 87. What is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. And yeah, well, pretty much there you have it. What does colored mean? That's question 88. Colored means anything that has been painted, stained, varnished, or dyed. I believe that's out of the fourth edition of Black's Law Dictionary, which is pretty much in every court in this jurisdiction in this land. Among the books or publications that's used to render judgment on you. So if you fall under and subscribed or are subscribed under these code names, it's a problem. You also have to think of the fact that subconsciously, it's based within the subconscious of those that you're dealing with, and those that you do business with, and as you conduct your daily business, your activities assume your everyday life, right? So why would you want to be aligned with that? It's a problem. It's a problem. But as far as unifying, I'm willing to unify with my people regardless of the differences in ideologies. Because you're going to have that. You're going to have people that have different perspectives, just different points of view, different ranges of experience, different energies, whether or not they're motivated to really go all the way. So really, I'm unbothered by it, even though I'm working things through and trying to be as unbothered as the photo on the screen. But it's difficult because it seems to me that people want to provoke prompt arguments and to see if who's better than the other, or who, I don't know, is in a position of being right. And some people seem to be so anxious to prove others wrong. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I'm here to do my part to help uplift fallen humanity. That is the basis of almost everything that I am trying to do. And I actually was going to pull something up out of the Moorish Holy Quran, but essentially it says what was in the Constitution, is that was just read out, that was just narrated. As I'm thumbing through it right now, and see, I'm still I'm not saying I'm unstudied, but I got to do some more reading and stuff before I commit things to memory. And my memory, short-term memory, is the first thing to go, regardless of what people might say about aging. I'm actually seasoned. I always will say it. I'm aged. I'm seasoned, not aged. Um, so realistically, it's been documented. The origin of who it is we are, that we are descendants of the Moroccan Empire that are born here. And when you go by those titles, you take yourself away from your origin. You take yourself away from your natural origin, that natural origin of who you are. And that's what happens when you subscribe. That's the end result, really. That's the result when you subscribe to these titles, these caste class titles. And you've heard it from other people before, probably a bit more eloquently, a little bit more put together. But I get it. I get it. And as a matter of fact, actually, I lost track of when I stopped referring to myself as black, and I no longer refer to myself as black. I mean, yeah, there's blackamoors, or there was um, a time where there were blackamoors, but you're talking from more of a historic aspect. But we do really need to get back to the nature of who we are, um, or once were, and elevate ourselves. That's why we have to elevate ourselves. Because if you have to say that we need to elevate ourselves, then we are in a lower state of being. Just saying. So I'm scrolling through stuff right here, and it just seems kind of rude that I'm doing that. But like I said, it's just a live stream show on a Friday night. I didn't even expect to come on tonight, and 2 hours before going to air is when I put out the notification. By the way, so I don't expect anyone to actually well, a few people probably on here watching, and a number of people watching later on. And like I said, it's an extended weekend, so I didn't really expect very much. And I didn't even take notes. That's probably what I'm gonna have to start doing. I want to give a shout out though to hold on a second. I ran out something really good here. Yeah, okay. Well, I want to give a shout out to and I know he'll probably never hear this. Sheriff Villanueva of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for not requiring that his staffers, namely frontline staffers, get jabbed. He's made it. Well, I've seen it floating around the interwebs. It's not really been made heavily available, but he has made a public statement saying that he'd rather not lose 10% of his staff overnight over what's mainly a political decision. It's a political fight, and also too, when I looked into it and read the article, I saw that LAPD had done the same thing. They're not requiring their personnel to get the jab. That might come as bad news to some people, to the bad guys out there, but but really, it's a step. Having once worked in the profession in another agency, that was something I actually thought about. I thought about, well, are they going to, mandatorily impose it? I could have made a couple phone calls and got nosy and found out, but I'm kind of detached from that. I've been away for quite some time, so it's not that it's not of concern to me because I still have friends affiliated and associated, and they're people. The ones that I know, they're people. Well, they're all people. But anyway, um, that's just something to see in a police administrative leader uh, to take a stand like that, and he actually has done that a few times in his efforts at Venice Beach. Not that he was bogarting, because Venice Beach is in the city of Los Angeles, in the city of Los Angeles itself. That's actually covered by LAPD. But they needed help. They needed help to assist with the the problem with the I don't want to say vagrancy. I don't the houseless people, people that are unhoused. So not that he came in there. He came in there to offer resources and solutions instead of jailing everybody. So I give him a tip to the hat for that. I mean, despite all the stuff that's going on, and the gunplay that you have in certain, well, the gunplay unfortunately has been lingering for decades there. So I mean, that's another issue. That's another issue. But I'm just speaking to the point of him not mandatorily imposing his deputies to get the jab. So that's pretty much was the news for the day for me after I ran across from that. Getting back to my prior points relative to blackness, blackity black, black. Um, I pulled up Moorish literature that was written during the time frame that he was alive, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and I found point number 10, a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. And I'll spare you the narration. I'll just read it aloud. The citizens of all free national governments, because I'm going to be pausing and commenting as I go along. I'm not going to I'm going to quote it verbatim, but I'm going to add my little flavor, little commentary. So the citizens of all free national governments, that's how it starts. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family, bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. I'm not coming down on anybody. I'm just laying it out to you. This is a man that formed a nation. And people are still listening to Farrakhan today, or Farrakhan these days. And how long has it been since the Million Man March? What marked improvement has taken place since, what was it, 1995 to now? And I'm not casting blame. I'm just going with this. I'm being unscripted here tonight. I'm speaking openly, have an open conversation, mostly with myself, because I haven't seen any comments yet to indicate that anybody wants to come on and join me, which is fine. I just had a flashback to Wally George. You can look him up, Google him. Is it Wally George? Well, I don't know if y'all remember this. And I'm going to read the rest of the this document in a minute. The literature, Moorish literature, in just a minute. I just had a segue here, a vision. And P.D. Green. Wally George was a character. He, if y'all remember public access television back in the day, he had a show from a television station in Orange County, California. I think it was KDOC. That was the channel, and it was public access, and he had all kinds of different. He had a desk and a few chairs, and he would invite people on the show. He had people from pretty much all walks of society throughout. People that were from Orange County, Greater Orange County, and San Diego, I believe. Some pretty radical and extreme people, um, crazy people, this and that and the third. So I just thought it interesting, and I even thought about myself maybe someday, somehow, I don't know, as I'm maybe channeling him in some way, shape, or form. I used to watch that show. It was actually pretty good. Anyway, I think his name was Wally George, and he had that show, and it was on a Friday night. And when I was doing anything on a Friday night, I actually tune in and check it. I think it was Friday night. I want to say it was Friday night. But yeah, okay. Pardon the tangent. Pardon the tangent. Anyway, I'm just leaving it open, just to let anybody know that if you want to join the show, feel free. It's not that I'm stalling or anything like that at all. I've been at it for just about an hour. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. I'm just kind of letting it go, just kind of free balling, more or less. Not free basing, free balling. Get your mind out of the gutter, please. Anyway, those those who fail to subscribe or fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables, right? Denizens, malcontents, etc. The same thing that this country does or did with those folks that were south of the border trying to gain asylum. It's because they were labeled a certain way. And we deal with labels in society. We deal with labels in contemporary culture, especially when they're imposed by the government. It's a problem because, well, the government, we all know that the government is not for the people. This government is a corporate construct. That's why it has a president. That's why it has a vice president. They're running a corporation. Yeah, I said it. I'm not afraid. It's known. It's documented. I don't know the title code right off the top of my head, but it's it's U.S. code, Title 18. So if you fail to recognize your free national name with a constitutional government that actually does exist, it's just not to the level where it needs to be. I mean, some people would vehemently disagree with me and accuse me. Well, not necessarily, because Friday being holy day, I'm probably not going to get much flack over it. In actuality, yeah. Anyway, I'm leaving it alone. Anyway, so if you fail to recognize who you are or who you should be under a legal fold, you're allowing yourself to be classed as an undesirable. Think about that. So you're leaving yourself subject to, meaning that you're leaving yourself vulnerable. You're subjected to inferior names and the abuses and mistreatments that come with it. It doesn't take too much to realize that. That's why we are being, well, there are instances of racial profiling. I said this, I used to say this as a metaphor a lot. That's why, well, nowadays it's kind of, it's somewhat different because I think, there's the illusion that people are making so much money. But there was a time that if you were melanated and you were driving northbound on Pacific Coast Highway, depending on the time of day, especially if you went north of Trancas, north of Decker Canyon along PCH, and you were melanated, and in California, it's illegal to have window tint. So anyway, if you're melanated and you drive northbound on Pacific Coast Highway, there's a strong likelihood, probably a 7 to 8 to 9 out of 10 chance that you would get stopped and contacted, even if there was a patrol car coming the opposite direction. Just saying. Because I had that happen to me before. Twice. Once I was with my wife. But that's a whole other story. Matter of fact, it wasn't too far from where my Treese Richardson was taken into custody at Moon Shadows. Anyhow, um, yeah. So you are allowing yourself to be considered an undesirable, and you're subject to the mistreatments that the citizens, in this case, those who are of the belief that the occupying government runs everything and such. And they, well, depending on who you talk to, they are the foreigners because they came here by way of Ellis Island. We didn't. We were already here. And so that, let's see. So inferior names and abuses, mistreatments. I'm reminded of the Christian slave codes. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that allude to slavery. Hot diggity. Mm. I'm gonna, if I read that again, I'd sound like I was preaching, and I don't want to sound preachy. That's not me. He goes on to read, I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind to their forefathers, divine and national principles. See, this is the thing. That means you would have to subscribe to ethics. That means you have to get yourself right. That means you have to get yourself proper. That means you can't be going out all willy-nilly and, well, shaking your private parts around on OnlyFans. Yeah, I know. Who doesn't know that OnlyFans exists, right? But you can't go out here and be sinning because it takes you away from your divine and national principles, your creed. So go back to the state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders, and receive their divine right as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion, which is a dull day, by the way. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. Probably just not the United States of America Incorporated. It's not recognized. Because that's why you have groups like, let's see, Anti-Defamation League, Jewish Defense League, and the Southern Christian Poverty Center that are saying that these are agitators and divisive organizations. I've not seen that. I mean, there are rogues in any organization. There's rogues that are affiliated with the Vatican. Did you know that the Vatican has its own security team? Has its own police department, actually, with police powers, holy powers. Yeah, look it up. And come back here and prove me wrong. I'll eat my words. That's cool. I've done it before. So what you're doing, man, you're denying yourself. You're denying yourself the human entitlement that you deserve by saying you're something that you're not. And it's been, I've lost track of when, but it was on a few years ago, Malcolm X's born day. I was looking in the mirror, getting ready to do something, go somewhere, but it was his born day. I think I just ran across, I got a notification on my phone or something. Phone's actually pretty useful from time to time. And I think it was a notification that it was his born day, and I was getting ready to go somewhere. And I think I was in the mirror. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I pretty much rescinded the title for myself. I'm not black. I'm not colored. As controversial as this even may sound, I even thought years ago, a few things I thought. I thought that this the system, the man screwed up the fact that the word colored, he screwed up and made it negative. The system made it negative, right? Because actually, colored, in a sense, would have been able to apply because we come under all different hues under the human family. I mean, it's about blood right, yeah. It never should have really been about color. It's about blood right. It's about bloodline, really. Because I've been doing my own, catching up on my own family research, doing my family tree, and I've been really excited about it. I've shared this excitement with a few people. I don't know why. I don't like I don't like to appear like overly exuberant about stuff, right? But I was hyper as a child. What can I tell you? Anyway, I ran across in my family tree, at least the one side that I traced. I actually traced my paternal side and went pretty far. And on some of the paperwork I've seen, the documents, the scanned documents, I've seen mulatto, and that caused me, it caused me to look it up again, the meaning of mulatto, and I have a broader, a more actually more direct, more focused understanding of what mulatto means now, and whereas before, I just thought it was a mixture between so-called white and black. And in a sense, it kind of is, but it's not because white doesn't really exist. It only exists as a construct, as a particular a caste code, right? And because, well, it depends on, if you want to read the page 792 of the fourth edition of Black's Law Dictionary. Anyway, I found out what it meant. Basically, partially uh, what is it? Contested. Oh my goodness, I got it. Conquistadors, conquistadors from Spain after they conquered the Moors. Anyway, after they conquered the Europeans, right? They were Europeans that came here and just kind of like ran ripshot over everything. Well, invariably, they produced, they had consorts and produced and had children with native Africans, and that produced the mulatto. Because the mulatto was actually uh, another code, a code of detriment. So I'm not ashamed of it. I realize how few that I have in my family tree because and the rest of the codes that were entered were B for black. Oh, I got one Creole connection. But as I have water, drink water, y'all. Where did I leave off at? So, yeah. So, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all national beings, they are to claim their own free and national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government of the earth, natural of the earth, universal common law. That's the way I interpret it. And it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine national movement, which is incorporated in this government. So it's incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. That's heavy. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. Man, I missed out on a lot of granted privilege. I'll tell you what, because I won't really get into it that much because I'll be too transparent at that point. But I haven't been able to eligible to receive any PPP at all. So I've been functioning since this started, and my wife kind of casually reminded me that we missed out. Well, we missed out on quite a bit of money, but it depends on how you look at it, right? Because I don't want to be further in and associated with a contract. I don't want to be deeper than I already am. So if this is a process in which I can break free from these constraints of what is a colorable system, colorable meaning fictitious, contrived, created out of the blue sky, out of nowhere, out of nothing, just like what they're doing with the money. Because there is none. They're printing notes. You know, did you know that there's not one central place that promissory notes are printed? I happen to live, and I actually have been there when I used to work at a previous capacity. As a matter of fact, they were hiring for security personnel at this location. I live not far from one of the mints that generates money, one of the printing um, places where they print it. It's right here in the county where I live. You can look it up. I ain't got no reason to lie. You know, if one thing, and those of you out there who have read the Moorish literature, I do apologize because I'm sure I've, either could have gotten it done and over with by now, but I'm just adding my color my color commentary to this, so I hope you don't mind. And I'm not saying anything in ill repute or anything disparaging towards this man's work at all. It's against the rules to even do that. It's against holy ordinance, by the way. So I'm not doing it. But what I'm saying is, before I get too far off track, is if I'm able to step away from this corporation at some point and stay free of it and not be tied in and subscribed to these instruments that keep one in mental bondage or keep one in bondage fiduciarily and relegated to peonage for generations to come. Because someday, I mean, there's not a day that I'm up out and about that I don't think about having our very own autonomous system of government, a body politic of its own, where we can be in a position of leverage and make certain demands instead of waiting on granted privileges, not being under granted privileges. An analogy for you: 10 people get together. 10 people get together, right? They take how much ever they have of their maybe their life savings, and they pool their money. I'm not talking about any kind of scheme or anything like that or any kind of lottery. Well, let's just say they got some lottery money together or something, right? They ended up getting a whole bunch of monies, and we know that money doesn't really exist, but they're just notes. Bear with me. Let's build this. We get together, they buy a plot of land, and guess what? They want to hire police, but they don't want police in that territory. They don't want the police of that particular territory. They want their own police. Hence, that's why you have Bel Air Patrol in Los Angeles, California. I mean, in some areas, the LAPD responds and to either back them up or take an appearance of a primary role. But ultimately, Bel Air Security and private security companies that are in certain enclaves to protect those enclaves, those personnel are subject to the people that created those conclaves, right? However, those people that are within those are the people that actually domicile in there. Notice I said domicile, not residents. People that actually domicile in those spaces, they have the power and control to tell the city in, that is, I guess I want to say that they're within the city, that this nation, I guess, if you will, this little group of people that live within the environs of Bel Air, for example. They have power and control to press the buttons and command the city of Los Angeles and tell them what to do. That's a lot of influence to have. I mean, it might have been not the best analogy, but you see my point. You have to see my point. No, you don't have to see it, but no, anyway, it's there. You don't have to dig very far. It's not that deep. But I can see that someday. I mean, someday, hopefully before I pass farm, but someday I see that being a reality, and it needs to be. It seriously needs to be a reality, folks. And part of it is dismissing with these and no longer being under these codes that have suppressed us. So we can be in a better position and not be under granted privilege. All right, I'm taking a break for about 5. I'm looking at the clock. I'll be right back in about maybe, let me push it out to 10 minutes. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And I'm going to finish reading this. You know what I mean. But I'm going to actually, I'm not chopping it apart or doing anything, again, of detriment to it. I just want to read it out to you and add my 2 cents the way I understand it. I'll be right back in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh man, I just checked. Got an update. My son's team is leading by 20 points, and it's the fourth quarter. So I'm not resting my laurels, but it looks like they might have things wrapped up tonight, so they'll be winning. But it's going to be a while till he gets back here anyway from where they are. So amazing, these guys pulled it out. These guys, well, I don't know. Anyway, I had. I knew that they were probably going to pull it out anyway. They're going to win, but to see the point spread, wow. I'll be back in a second. I don't want to be gone too long. I just got to make a pit stop. All right, I'm back. A little short of 5 minutes. Didn't want to stay away too long. Okay, so um, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I wanted to clarify something from last night's show. I actually had misspoke about one of the victims of the Timberview High School incident, thinking that it was the school teacher that was wounded in the back and uh, and such. Well, as it turns out, it was the adversary that was in the fight, the original victim, the 15-year-old student that was wounded, and apparently he's going to have a long way to go, according to just this news flash that just came up a minute ago. It says the headline reads: Timberview shooting victim's family says 15-year-old faces long road to recovery following Friday surgery. I don't want to screw up this young man's name, but it's spelled Zacchaeus. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Uh, Zach J.S. Zacchaeus Selby was shot 4 times in a shooting at Mansfield ISD's Timberview High School on Wednesday, according to his family. The family of the student injured by gunfire is sharing his recovery. Um, Mr. Selby, 15, spent part of Friday in surgery. His mother is talking about his long road to recovery, while doctors at Medical City Arlington Hospital are keeping a close eye on the teen. Aisha Selby never imagined her son would not be safe at school. She could not help breaking down in tears occasionally while talking about his hospital stay, even after going from critical to stable. He has tubes in his throat and in his nose. He is just laying there, said Aisha Selby. Zacchaeus suffered 4 gunshot wounds during Wednesday's incident at Timberview High School. Video from before the gunfire, which in part of the is part of the investigation, shows moments during the fight when Zacchaeus and the 18-year-old suspect, um, suspect being um, Timothy Simpkins. The suspect is wearing a white hooded sweatshirt in the video. Shortly after the video ends, police say the suspect shot Zacchaeus. Let me change this up for a second because I'm no okay. All right, so that's pretty much. Oh, here it is. Okay, as paramedics brought Selby out of the high school, his mother was in the right place at the right time. I ran to the stretcher and I grabbed his hand, squeezed his hand. I said, "I love you," and he said, "I love you too." Police identified 18-year-old Timothy Simpkins as the shooter. He's out of jail on bond, but on home detention, facing aggravated assault charges. Aisha Selby said they are in the same class. The information about being classmates is pretty much the extent of Zacchaeus' mother knows, is pretty much the extent, okay, the extent of what his mother knows about her son's accused shooter. Her family feels people seeing the video of the fight will get the wrong impression of the teen, and that's funny. That's the same thing that the shooter's uh, parents were saying. Kathy Selby said it's making him look like a monster. We have seen the video ourselves, and we were shocked. Aisha Selby said he's a regular teenager. He's 15. He's my baby. The 15-year-old's mother shared Friday's surgery is just the 15-year-old's mother shared Friday's surgery is just one of many at Medical City. Family and friends hope an online fundraiser will help with mounting medical bills and healing. After Friday's surgery, doctors removed a tube from the 15-year-old's throat, according to his mom. She believes he is also doing better by the day. I am going to tell him I love you. I am going to tell him I love you, said Aisha Selby. That has to be one of the worst written articles of. Never mind. Sorry. So With that, where do we go from here, people? Where do we go from here? I rendered a preliminary analysis, I guess you can say it is, um, last night with regard to this situation, and I was rather incensed by it. And actually, right now, reading that bulletin, I'm still just as perturbed and incensed and angry and agitated about it. And I don't even know these people personally, but this is close. As my son is playing football tonight, actually, let me roll back a bit. I dropped my son off this morning. They were on a modified schedule anyway, for the holiday weekend or whatever. So I dropped him off this morning before 10 o'clock during, I guess, one of his passing periods. And as he's getting out of the car, as is normal, I wished him a good game today, and he told me he loved me. He told me he loved me, and it's normal for him to do that. That's kind of a customary thing. For one, it makes me glad that I'm actually at home, around the house, able to be responsive, able to be supportive, and just him knowing that I'm actually here, physically here, makes a big difference, I think. And needless to say, I can't imagine at all what those parents are going through within an hour distance from where I'm sitting right now. It's upsetting. It's really upsetting because this can happen anywhere. And it's a shame when you have to think and really put yourself in the mind frame that it's not a matter of if, that it possibly can truly be a matter of when. Now, having worked for schools before, and I once worked on a security detail in California, in Los Angeles, before I went to the academy to be a sheriff's deputy. And I think I touched on it last night, but I might have been a little bit tired. I don't mean to repeat myself, but I actually was shot at before a couple times working at that school. We actually took a gun off somebody that was actually on campus, and at the time I was unarmed, working in conjunction with the on-campus plainclothes police officer. Safe to say that I was his flunky, and I actually got a friend of mine hired on that used to work. Well, they used to work at Luzinger in Hawthorne, California. I got them a job, and a very, very good friend of mine got them a job with me to work at the school where we were in the San Fernando Valley. And I saw a lot. I saw a whole lot. During my time working patrol in Ventura County, I responded to situations at schools that were pretty dynamic, involving weapons. Fortunately, firsthand, I didn't run across any fatalities at any of the schools that were in my patrol area, at least as a consequence or a result of a firearm being brought on campus and discharged. Discharged. But this is an entirely another animal because, you know, these are areas that you would least suspect for this to happen. And I hate for this to sound cliche, but it's kind of the way it is. You don't expect for these things to happen. And now it has. This young man has 4 bullet wounds in him, and he's, debilitated. Not to even mention the mental anguish associated with everything. He's going to have to recover from that as well through therapy. So we're still a fallen humanity. We're still fallen. We're still damaged. We're still in need of repair. And it cannot come from being under a granted privilege. It can't come from trying to receive a handout, from asking for a handout, asking for things in a disadvantaged, undesirable positional category of NBC, Negro, Black, and Colored, person of color. Maybe not so much that, but you get the point. Back to the Moorish literature. You who doubt I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. Now, let me read that over again. Let me clean that up. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For that they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all of the true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. I think I'll leave it at that because there's well, actually, I'll read the rest of it if you don't mind, because I love my people too. I just don't love the things that they do, man. Oh man, I'm laughing just to keep from crying. I love my people and I desire their unity and mind back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. Huh. Interesting. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians or Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon any other American alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principle, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. And I'm reading this. Don't flag me. This is from the Moorish literature by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The same word as quote unquote colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, or dyed. So I guess you can't use colored, right? I was wrong in my assessment earlier. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced since 1774 declared all men equal and free. All men equal and free. Not minors, not minorities, not persons of color. Men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. And those days in the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens of and my people in this said government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine ways of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good, but have harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with divine plea to all American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways, and action and deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people, continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, grace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on the true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. Into marvelous light. I don't know why I was lagging on that. Into marvelous light from the prophet. That says a lot. And I'll be back again sometime to read that aloud because I think it really sinks in or should. You know, none of this, none of this is dogmatic. See, because that was my concern at first. When I initially was getting into it and starting to study this more, because previously I was, and I mentioned this I think previously before as well. Um, I was, I don't like to say followed, but I was following ideas that just ideas from ADOS, the ADOS group, and not really FBA, not FBA at all. I didn't even. I saw the infighting between that group and the ADOS crowd, and I felt that the ADOS drive didn't go far enough. The mission didn't go far enough. The mission, it just wasn't laid out the way it actually should be, in my view. And not that I was out of disparity looking for a cause to champion for. Actually, in a way I was, but in a way I wasn't, floundering and looking around to be part of a group. The group found me. The movement found me. I am a Moorish American, a Moorish American Muslim. So I'm doing everything I can to work along that end. I meant to put this up earlier, but I guess I missed out on that. But I'm working on everything on that end to do the best I can to be the best representation of my ancestors and to be my better self along the way of becoming the perfected man. Bolster your immune system, help alleviate stress. Take in those minerals and vitamins that you really need. Nutrients like vitamin B, omega fatty acids 3, 6, and 9, and many more nutrients. More Beauty now offers hemp seed oil. We all know that health is wealth. We must do all we can to maintain it. More Beauty offers 100% hemp seed oil, a natural option. Hemp seed oil, available from More Beauty. Order yours today from the embassyofthemoors.org. The embassyofthemoors.org. Yes, indeedy. Well, I guess I'll be wrapping things up here soon. I want to stop at the top of the hour. I think I gave you enough for now, and I'd appreciate if you go over to the MC of the Moors and order that fine bottle of 100% hemp seed oil. Other products on the way soon, sooner than you know, but you will know because you'll hear it from me. Because not am I just a what do you call it? A user, but no, not a user. Yeah, screwed that one up. Anyway, you know what I mean. I use the product, I like it, and I'm looking forward and anticipating more products to come out from them soon for More Beauty. So please go by the website and support them. Get some stuff. It'll help you. It's healthy. It's great stuff. And once I get into better shape, I'm going to do a video, maybe a testimonial. I don't know. Maybe my words are just enough. So go out and get the stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to head out of here. And, as the clock on the wall is telling me it's time to go, y'all. Thanks for coming through. Hopefully I'll edit this down and have enough material for my podcast, which is on Anchor, anchor.fm, at Learn More Truth, anchor.fm. And I think, didn't I have the, no, I didn't put it up there. Shame on me. And I actually have to reconfigure. No, here it is right here. Go ahead and use that code down there, that QR code, and that'll plug you into everything that I got going on, which is not very much. I just make it look like I got a lot going on. Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm out. We'll see you next time. Hopefully sooner than later. You know how it is. You know how we do. You know the vibe. Peace, y'all. AD is out. Much love. Peace and love.